So since the previous two character randomizing videos I did went over so well, and there was, well, one person who wanted to see more randomization, I decided I'm going to go ahead and make this a monthly thing. At the end of every month or so, I'm going to go ahead and just release a video where I use one of my random charts or show off a new one that I created. And speaking of, I've also created a new chart for Ryuutama. And since this one is small enough to fit on one page, I decided I'm going to go ahead and just randomize an entire party for Ryuutama. See how well that goes over. And yeah, I also decided if I'm going to be doing this more, I'm going to be putting a little bit more effort into actually making the randomization charts as well, which is why you got this nice little one right here. If you're like following me on Tumblr or you're a part of the Ryuutama Google Plus group, you've probably already seen this. But this is me actually going to be using this to make a party for Ryuutama. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, shall we? We're going to be making 4 people today, because this one should go by pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and first start by rolling for the stat array for our player 1 our first character right here. I'm going to roll a 4. And we got a 2. So they get a single 8 and a single 4. So let's figure out what their 8 is going to be. Their 8 is going to be an intelligence. So this character is going to be fairly smart. Let's figure out what their 4 is going to be. Intelligence, we can't have that. So let's roll again. Intelligence again. No. 4, spirit. Alright, so this character is probably smart, but a little depressed. The two may or may not be related. Now let's decide what his class is going to be. There's 7 classes in Ryuutama, so we got to use a D8 for this, and we re-roll on 8. So let's go ahead and roll for it. He's going to be a noble. So class noble. Let's decide their character type now. This one was actually brought up to me that this could just as easily be a D4 or a D3, with 4 being a reroll, or just use a D6 as a D3. I don't really like how the D4s tumble, so we're going to go with using a D6 as a D3, as it's intended on the chart, which is 4. We're going to do 1 and 2s are 1, 3 and 4 are 2, and 5 and 6 are 3. So this is a technical type character, meaning he uses items and skills a lot. And he's not a magic type, so we can go ahead and skip that. And last, we're going to go ahead and choose what weapon type it is they like to use. And 3 for polearms. So their weapon of choice is polearm. And nobles also get an ability where they can potentially master another kind of weapon. So we're going to go ahead and roll for that. Their weapons of choice were blade, polearm, and bow. So we're going to once again go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See what their secondary weapon is. 2, blades. So polearms and blades. And while we're at it, let's also go ahead and randomize. Let's go ahead and randomize whether this character is going to be male or female. Odds, they're going to be male. Evens, they're going to be female. And even, so this is a female character. So let's go ahead and name her. Let's actually name her Ursula. So there we go. We have our first character, a noble named Ursula. Since she's a noble, let's go ahead and say that her character item is a family bracelet. Because Ryuutama is not really so much about a character's stats as it is about their story. So little details like this are more important than things like their HP and whatnot. And last, let's go with a color. Purple is a nice royal color, so her character color is purple. There we go. So we have Lady Ursula the noble, and she is good with polearms and blades, and her her character item is her family bracelet, and she wears a lot of purple. Let's go ahead and figure out what the rest of her traveling companions are like. So for her stat array, we're going to go ahead and see, or rather, his, could be her, his, her. We'll go ahead and re-roll, see if this one's going to be male or female. This one's also going to be female. And now we're going to re-roll roll for their stat array. 1, all 6s. Alright, so you're just an all-around jack of all trades. Or Jill of all trades. Alright, and your class is minstrel. So you're a minstrel. Alright, so a female minstrel. Let's go ahead and name you Cindy. And your character type, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Attack type. So we have an attack type. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, attack types are also able to get are also able to get a second weapon as well. So we're just going to roll on weapon twice if that is true. Don't want to end up messing this up. Yep, weapon focus. Gain 1 more mastered weapon. So we're going to go ahead and roll on the weapon table twice for her, which is axes and axes. So double axe. And we'll just go ahead and notate that with +1. She's really good with axes. A minstrel that's good with axes. Color, Technicolor. Technicolor. She uses a lot of different... She's like a rainbow. And a character item... we'll say a character item for her is a favorite scarf. She has a scarf she likes to wear. Which is where... It's a very colorful scarf as well. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and roll for male or female for our third character. Female. Alright, so we have another female character. Right, and let's see what your stat array is going to be like. 3, so you have 2 8s and 2 4s. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and roll to figure out what your 2 8s are going to be. You're going to be spirit. You already have an 8 in spirit. And strength. So you're big, clumsy, and not all too bright, but what you lack in finesse, both physical and mental, you make up for it with heart, both physical and psychological. All right, and you know what? We're gonna go ahead and name you. Well, let's actually figure out what your class is before we go naming you. Your class is 4 healer. So you're a healer. Let's name you. So your class is healer, and we're going to name you. We're going to name you Lisa. We're going to name you Lisa, and your character color is going to be yellow. I already know that you're going to be yellow. Let's figure out what your character type is. You know what? Actually, we're just going to go ahead and make you magic type. Not even going to randomize that. And while we're at it, I don't want to rant. I like where this is going with a healer that's strong and spirited, but not too bright and really clumsy. We're gonna make you axes. A yellow healer that wields axes. And character item. Okay, this is one I haven't really thought out too much. We'll say your character item is. We'll say it's a ragdoll. We'll say you have a favorite ragdoll that you like to have. All right, last one. Let's see if this is going to be like an all-girl cast, like some sort of moe trash anime or something. And you are female. All right, so we've got Ryuutama, the moe trash anime going on here. And we're gonna roll for this other one's stats. We roll for 3, 2 8s and 2 4s. We're going to roll for what your 4s are first. And spirit. So you're not all that perky. And strength. So you're the opposite of Lisa. So we have the opposite of Lisa here. And let's go ahead and roll D8 to figure out what your class is. Merchant. A merchant. Alright, so your class is merchant. And let's figure out what your character type is. We've got all the types represented at this point, so I don't really see any harm in rolling for this one. Another magic type. Which reminds me, we actually forgot to do your season for Lisa. So we're gonna roll for that as soon as we're done figuring out everything else for. Let's call you Akira. Yeah, we're gonna call you Akira. You also have 8 dexterity and 8 intelligence. So you're kind of the polar opposite of Lisa here. You're small and you're not very spirited, but you are very precise in your movements and you know exactly what you're doing. Alright, and last, Akira, what is your weapon? What do you like to use? Bows. Oddly appropriate for someone with a high dexterity and, like, no strength. So weapon, bow. An item, and we'll say it's actually, we'll say your character item is your wallet. Your wallet is your character item. In your color, we're actually going to give you 2 colors. We're going to say that your color is pink and yellow. There we go. So we're going to say that you've got pink hair with a yellow jacket, whereas Lisa just is all yellow. And Cindy is every freaking color you can imagine, and even probably some that aren't imaginable. And Ursula is purple, because she is a noble. Okay, so let's also go back and re-roll for the seasons of Lisa and Akira. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to just go ahead and say that Lisa is spring. Because spring is good for healing. And Akira, what's your magic type? Your magic type is also spring. You know what? I'm okay with that. I have no problem with double dipping in classes. There's no way this can go wrong. Alright, so there we go. This is going to be our completely random Ryuutama party. So now, how did everyone meet up? This is always the fun part of doing randomized things like this, trying to make everything make sense. So this is our party. Why are they all traveling together? I'm actually going to go ahead and say, that Ursula is sort of the leader of this party, and she's wanting to travel just because, well, she's a noble. It's what nobles do when she's a noble with NY. And so she decided to travel. And she took her nurse Lisa with her. So, and while they were traveling, while they were setting off, they ran into the wandering minstrel Cindy, who's a girl that just wants to have fun. And Cindy already happened to be traveling with Akira, who decided she could make a quick buck by providing all the traveling needs that a wandering noble could need. So there we go. That's how everyone met together. These two were just naturally drawn to each other because Lisa is a servant to Ursula, and Cindy was just sort of wandering with Akira because it seemed like a fun thing to do. And Akira is following Ursula because Ursula is a noble, and wherever nobles go, there is opportunity for money because Akira is greedy, as characterized by her character item. Alright, so there we go. That was completely random Ryuutama party. I might do some more with this thing later. I really like doing this sort of thing. I like coming up with stories for random characters and random parties. It's one of my favorite parts of role-playing games, really. But anyways, now that we got all this settled, I don't really have anything else left right now, so Once again, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and kind of lost my train of thought. I don't really know how to end this. I don't think I want to end this. There's probably going to be a missing chunk. It's just going to jump to this monologue of me not knowing how to end this. Oops. Anyways, with all that said, I am Aaron Dershadel, and I will see you all next time.